Far beyond the familiar stars, where light from distant suns barely reached, the galactic empire stretched its power like a giant shadow. It was the strongest force anyone knew, an empire of countless planets, vast fleets of starships and soldiers, trained for every possible threat. The empire controlled space with confidence. Their ships moved fast and strong, scanning the dark emptiness for anything unusual. But one quiet day, deep in the border of their territory, something strange happened. The sensors aboard the Empire's largest command ship began to pick up a faint signal, something that didn't match any known ship or technology. It wasn't loud or bright, but it was there, hidden in the background noise of space. The crew stared at the readings, puzzled. This ship did not broadcast its presence like others did. It had no markings, no name, no signals to explain who or what it was. It was as if a ghost had slipped quietly into their space. The Empire's commanders immediately ordered their fleet to respond. Ships scrambled from their posts, engines roaring to life, weapons systems powering up, and communication channels opening with calls for identification. But the mysterious ship did not reply. Instead, it moved with a calm precision that made even the most experienced officers uneasy. It didn't attack or hide. It simply slipped through their sensors as if space itself had folded around it. Every attempt to lock onto the ship failed. No scanner, no weapon system, no tracking technology could hold its image for more than a few seconds before it disappeared completely. At first, the Empire thought it was a technical error or a glitch. But then the sensors confirmed again and again. Something was out there, but it refused to be seen. The fleet pursued, jumping to faster speeds, pushing their ships to the limit. But the unknown vessel was always just beyond reach. It moved like a shadow, always present, yet never caught. As hours passed, tension grew among the officers. They began to whisper of old legends about ships that could travel unseen, vessels that belonged only to myth. The crew watched the empty space on their screens, waiting for the ghost ship to appear again, but it never did. Then, suddenly, the strange ship vanished as completely as it had arrived. No trace remained, no energy readings, no sensor blips, nothing. It was as if it had never been there. The silence that followed was heavy and deep, filled with questions that had no answers. The Empire's pride was shaken. How could something so unknown enter their territory without warning? How could a ship, invisible to all their technology, slip through their defenses like a breeze through leaves? The commanders gathered to discuss the impossible event. Some insisted it was a test, a warning from a power beyond their understanding. Others argued it was an early sign of a challenge to come. But all agreed on one thing: the Empire could no longer assume it was the only force in the galaxy. For the first time, a small seed of doubt planted itself in the hearts of the Empire's leaders. That night, as stars burned cold and silent, in the endless dark, the crew of the command ship kept watch, eyes glued to their instruments, waiting for the unknown ship to return. No one knew where it had gone or what it wanted. All they knew was that something had arrived, and it would change everything. After the mysterious ship vanished, the vast empire buzzed with quiet murmurs that spread like wildfire through the halls of power and the streets of distant worlds alike. Among the officers aboard Fleet Command and in the grand chambers where the Empire's leaders met, the news of the ghostly ship became a secret that no one could fully explain or ignore. Whispers passed from one voice to another, some claiming the ship was no more than a shadow, trick of the sensors, or a rare space phenomenon that the most advanced technology had yet to understand. Others, however, spoke in lower tones of something far more profound, an unknown civilization, hidden somewhere in the vast darkness, with knowledge and machines so advanced that they could slip past even the Empire's most careful watch. In private corners and crowded taverns, civilians debated the story, wondering if the Empire's long-held strength might be facing an invisible challenge. Yet, despite the growing unease beneath the surface, the leaders at the highest levels of the Empire held fast to their confidence. To them, this mysterious visitor was just a brief disturbance, an anomaly that would pass, riddle that would be solved, or perhaps a sign that the Empire's enemies were still too weak to confront it openly. They spoke with certainty and grand, halls lined with polished steel and shining lights, reassuring their followers that no power could stand against their might. But far from the shining centers of Empire control, in the hidden edges of space where humanity lived beyond the Empire's reach, a different story was unfolding. There, scattered among forgotten stars, small human colonies had grown in secret. These colonies, made up of people who refused to bow to the Empire's rule, had learned to survive on their own terms, building new homes on barren worlds, trading ideas and resources quietly between systems.
The arrival of the unknown ship
Stirred something deep within these colonies. It was a sign that humanity was no longer alone in the cosmic darkness, that the stories of other powers hiding in the shadows might be true, and that the time was ripe to act. Inspired by this hope, leaders from different colonies began to meet in secret, exchanging plans and dreams of a future where humans could stand proud among the stars, not as subjects of an empire, but as equals and pioneers. This alliance was fragile, made of hope and determination rather than fleets and weapons, but it was growing stronger each day. Their message was clear. Humanity's greatest strength was not in armies or machines, but in its spirit, its ability to think, to adapt, and to unite in the face of the unknown. As news of this growing coalition spread in hushed tones, some Empire agents caught whispers of the movement and watched with concern. For all the Empire's power, it could not control every corner of the galaxy, and the seeds of change were taking root where it least expected. The mystery of the unknown ship became a symbol one that inspired fear among the Empire's loyalists and hope among those who yearned for freedom. No one knew where the ship had come from or what it truly wanted, but everyone sensed that it was a message, a challenge, or perhaps even an invitation. The galaxy held its breath, caught between the old order and the promise of something new, as the silent forces of change began to stir beneath the surface. With every passing day, the whispers grew louder, spreading from hidden rooms and distant colonies to the farthest edges of Empire space, reminding all who listened that the stars were no longer silent, and that humanity's time to shine was fast approaching. Months passed in the vast emptiness of space after the mysterious ship had first appeared and then disappeared, leaving the Empire with questions, but no answers. Life on the great starships in distant worlds continued, but the memory of that silent visitor lingered like a shadow. The Empire, proud and powerful, had grown confident that the strange event was a one-time mystery, something they would soon forget as routine space patrols resumed. However, without warning, the unknown ship returned, this time boldly entering the heart of Empire space, appearing right before a massive battle fleet that was on routine patrol. Unlike before, it did not hide or slip away. Instead, it presented itself clearly, as if to make a statement. The ship was unlike any other the Empire had seen. It was sleek and efficient. It's built with clean lines and glowing softly with a light that spoke of advanced technology and careful design. The officers aboard the Empire's command ship stared in disbelief as their sensors confirmed the ship's origin. It was human-made. This was no alien mystery, but the product of human minds and hands, crafted from centuries of struggle, innovation, and determination. The ship represented everything humanity could achieve when pushed to its limits, a shining example of resilience, an unyielding spirit. What stunned the Empire most was not just the ship itself, but what it could do. Without firing a single weapon, the vessel sent out a pulse of energy that quietly but decisively disabled the engines and control systems of the entire fleet. Ships that had boasted overwhelming firepower and advanced defenses suddenly floated, powerless, unable to move or fight back. The technology used was unlike anything the Empire had ever faced. It did not destroy, it did not harm, it simply took control, showing superiority without bloodshed or damage. The fleet, once the symbol of the Empire's absolute control, was now paralyzed by the silent power of this unknown human ship. In the command center, the officers scrambled to understand what had happened, their usual confidence shaken. Was not the enemy they had prepared to fight. It was something new, something smarter and more powerful in ways that did not rely on violence or destruction. The ship's captain, calm and assured, broadcast a message to the stunned Empire fleet. The words were clear and strong. Humanity sought peace and freedom, but would defend itself with every tool it had. This was a challenge to the old ways of thinking about power. The Empire, which had always ruled through force and fear, now faced a force that relied on intelligence, innovation, and restraint. The leaders in their distant halls could no longer ignore this new reality. The great galaxy-wide empire, built on centuries of conquest and control, was forced to reconsider everything it thought it knew about strength. The human ship's return was more than a show of technology, was a symbol that a new kind of power had arrived, one that could change the balance of the galaxy without firing a shot. As the disabled Empire ships floated silently in space, their crews watched the unknown vessel with a mix of fear and respect. It was a reminder that the future belonged not to those who ruled by force alone, but to those who embraced change, who used their minds and hearts to build something greater. The silent pulse that stopped the Empire fleet echoed a message louder than any weapon. The galaxy was ready for a new beginning, and humanity was leading the way. As the disabled Empire fleet drifted silently in space, the captain of the unknown ship took center stage. He was a figure of calm determination and quiet strength, a human leader shaped by years of struggle and unwavering belief in humanity's future. With a voice that carried the weight of countless stories of hardship and hope, he sent a clear, powerful message to the Empire and to all the civilizations nearby. His words echoed across the stars. Humanity desired peace above all, but it would never surrender its freedom or dignity. The message was not just a warning, it was a declaration that the age of domination and fear was coming to an end. This broadcast did more than reach the ears of Empire leaders. It stirred something deep in the hearts of countless worlds under Empire rule. On planets where people lived in silence, afraid to speak out, hope ignited like a small flame in the dark. Those who had long dreamed of freedom began to believe that change was possible. The captain's message traveled swiftly through hidden networks and secret meetings, inspiring whispers of rebellion and calls for reform. The courage of this human leader, backed by the undeniable proof of advanced technology and nonviolent power, challenged the Empire's claim to absolute control. As the news spread, the Empire's grip on its territories began to loosen. Systems once loyal started questioning their allegiance, unsure if they wanted to serve a power that could no longer protect or inspire them. The captain's words became a symbol of a new way forward, a way where strength came not from fear or force, but from unity, respect, and shared purpose. The Empire's leaders found themselves facing a reality they had never imagined. Their vast resources and armies, once thought unstoppable, were being tested not by open war, but by the rising will of countless voices calling for change. They realized that technology alone would not secure their future. They needed to understand the spirit behind this new challenge. As uprisings began to take root, peaceful protests mixed with bold acts of defiance, the human ship and its captain became more than a symbol. They were a beacon of hope and a rallying point for those seeking a better future. The galaxy was waking up to the possibility that a different kind of power was rising, one built on courage, intelligence, and the desire for freedom. In the face of this growing movement, the Empire's confidence wavered. The captain's gamble had shaken the foundations of an ancient order, proving that even the greatest empires could be challenged by those who dared to believe in something more. As the stars watched silently, the galaxy stood on the edge of transformation, waiting to see if peace and freedom could truly take root in a place long ruled by fear. As the echoes of rebellion and hope spread across the galaxy, the once mighty galactic empire found itself fractured and weakened. Many systems, inspired by the courage and message of the unknown ship and its human captain, chose freedom over fear. These worlds, long held under the heavy hand of empire rule, began to step forward, ready to chart a new path. The mysterious ship that had first appeared silently and vanished without a trace had returned not just as a symbol of human ingenuity, but as a beacon leading a growing coalition of humans and their allies. Together, they sought to build something New an order that rejected domination and instead embraced cooperation, innovation, and respect for all species, no matter their origins or histories. In quiet meeting halls and open forums scattered across liberated planets, leaders from diverse civilizations gathered to shape this future. Ideas flowed freely, mixing the wisdom of countless cultures with the determined spirit of humanity. It was not an easy task. Old fears and memories of past conflicts lingered, yet the shared desire for peace and mutual respect pushed these disparate groups toward unity. The coalition's strength lay not just in its growing fleet or technology, but in its belief that power should be used to protect and uplift, not to conquer or destroy. The unknown ship itself, once a ghost in the darkness, had become a symbol of transformation. It represented the power of quiet courage and steady resolve, proof that sometimes the most unexpected arrivals could change the course of history forever. Wherever the ship appeared, it brought hope. It reminded people that the future was not written in the stars, but forged by those who dared to dream and act with conviction. The Empire, now a shadow of its former self, watched as its influence faded. Some leaders within its ranks sought to fight back, clinging to old ways of control and fear. But many others saw the inevitability of change and began to seek peace, joining the coalition to help build a galaxy where freedom and respect were the true measures of strength. Battles that once seemed certain gave way to negotiations and shared goals. The galaxy slowly transformed from a place of conflict and division into one of connection and growth. As planets once hidden in darkness stepped into the light of this new era, stories of bravery and hope spread from world to world. People celebrated not just the fall of an empire, but the rise of a community bound by trust and shared dreams. The captain of the unknown ship continued to lead with wisdom and humility, guiding the coalition through challenges and setbacks alike. His vision was clear, a galaxy where no one was forced to live in fear, where every voice mattered, and where the future belonged to all who chose to shape it together. In time, the great silent ship became a legend, no longer just a mysterious visitor, but a living symbol of what humanity and its allies could achieve when united by purpose and respect. And so, as new stars were born in distant skies, and new alliances formed across old borders, the galaxy entered a dawn unlike any before. It was a dawn of hope, of cooperation, and of endless possibilities, testament to the quiet power of those who arrive without noise, yet leave a mark that lasts forever.